Hello. I wanted to make a quick comment or two about the client interviews. Some things to think about, as well as what we've talked about already. So one of the big things that just I want to reemphasize is that the interview really is a conversation about the client's problem. Okay, now it is a focused interview where we go through these four main questions. We have a goal with what we want to actually communicate with the client about it, but we want to think of this as that we're holding a conversation with the client. This is not an interrogation. This is not about answer my question, answer my question. It's a conversation, it's back and forth. And we really are, again, striving to get that client to sort of almost go stream of consciousness about their problem, all the issues with it, and to then guide them to talk in detailed language about the details of their problem. Okay, we're uncovering, trying to figure out what it is that we really need to solve. This is all about in this initial client interview. So some things to keep in mind is it's not, there's may not be an existing system. They might really be like, we've got a problem and we want a thing built to solve it. Now, there's probably something that they do. They might not think of it, it might not be a piece of software, but there might be something else, and that could be the existing system. How do you deal with this problem currently? How do you not deal with it? What is it about this situation? There's probably something there, but there might not be a physical manifestation of the system, and certainly there may not be a piece of software. Often there is, but there may not be. And so your questions can't be asking about the system if they don't have a system. You can't be a robot about this. You need to pay attention to them. And if in doubt, talk to the client more before you actually show up for the actual first meeting. Get a little bit more background. Especially in this course, your clients should be responsive. Send them an email. That's how we want to talk back and forth with our clients, known as the teaching assistants this term, and find out. Ask them more questions, okay? And again, you're aiming for a shared understanding. That's in details, all right. Now, the interviews are not about asking the client to tell you what to build. The clients do not have a existing design document, and they're not secretly hiding it from you, and you're trying to figure out what's on that design document. The clients don't know how to solve the problem. If they did know how to solve the problem, they probably would go and do it themselves, okay? They probably would not have hired you to help them design a solution to this problem, okay? And so this goes back to this. You're trying to find out about the problem and have this conversation. It's not, should we have a page like this? Should it do that? If you're asking these should it questions, you're already pushing the conversation into a design discussion, and that's not what the initial client interview is about. You're really in the initial client interview trying to learn about this problem. After you've learned about the problem, you've done some analysis, you think you've figured out what it is, the problem, and you have some ideas on how to solve it, you're going to go back to the client with, this is what we think your problem is. You're going to explain to them your understanding of what the problem is. Make sure that you're on the same page. Let them correct you. Let them fix you up on your understanding. And as well, you're going to say, well, based upon our understanding of the problem, these are some of our design ideas. These are some of the things that we think could work really well to solve this problem. Let me show you, 3 design ideas, and you tell us which one you think is best. Let us, tell us, or here's 2 ideas, give them some design choices. I mean, you could at least then, at a minimum, you got to show them something, but it's nice to give people choices. Different ideas. And this is a great way for your team as well to brainstorm. Oh, I think we could do this. I think we could do this. and the team themselves don't know which one is really best, well, that's when the client gets to get involved and like pick some things out and give some feedback, and that's really useful. You want to come up with lots of ideas. You want to go through them with your team, but you also need the client's feedback, and the client can help you pick and prioritize and choose between your design ideas. The way to think about this is, imagine if you were to hire an architect. You've hired this architect either to help you build a brand new building. In other words, you don't have an existing building already, or you've hired the architect to help you renovate a building, okay? So you could if you think of it that way, you're the architect. You're there meeting with the client, okay? You're gonna build software for them. They don't know, you'd never have an architect say, could you show me your existing drawings? Would this room connect to this, this initial meeting? No, the architect's gonna try to figure out what the client wants, and the architect's gonna probably come back with, well, I heard all these things in your list of stuff, and here are some drawing ideas. Here are some ideas. Let's start this process of trying to understand what we could do. And they might say, well, this one's more expensive and this one's less expensive. All sorts of things like that. But yeah, they're not going to pigeonhole in the client in the initial meeting with, well, you're not going to ask the client, what does your building look like? Tell me what the floor plan is. That's not the way the meeting goes. Just as you're not going to be like, tell me what the piece of software looks like. Tell me how the software works. The client doesn't know. All right, so those are just some quick notes about the interview.